Good morning, Internet fans. Ryan Perry, Simple Biz Support. Today is Wednesday, October the 7th, 2015. Therefore, it is Social Media Wednesday, and I have Sarah Giavetti for some reason, Giametti with Provaro Marketing. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm good. I'm just glad I didn't call you Sue or something like that.
That's probably a good plan.
We are going to talk about something that I've never heard of until you actually brought it up, and that is a dark Facebook post. And I'm assuming we're talking about this because it's October, Halloween's coming up. We want to get a little ghoulish, get a little dark. And so we're coming up with dark Facebook post.
Not exactly. It just happens to be a coincidence that we're running into Halloween with this. Dark posts are technically unpublished posts that you can use to segment your audience, and you can use them a few different ways. This is a more advanced technique, and so this isn't for if you're brand new to social media, totally bookmark this for later. But it is something that, as we're coming into the holidays, could be very powerful for retailers who have different audiences. When we were prepping for this, I used the example of a shoe store. You'll have women's shoes, men's shoes, kids' shoes, and you can segment your audience based on that and have posts that aren't public on your wall, but that your women audience see the shoe, just pictures and not ads, but pictures and posts that are geared towards them and the products that they might want to buy, as a really easy example.
Okay, so essentially, I have a Facebook page, my business page. I go on there, and you're telling me there's a way that I can actually post content that people will see. However, it'll only show up in their feed. It won't show up on my side, my feed. So if I posted something as a dark post on Simple Biz Support, and then I go back to my business page, or you logged in, or somebody else checked me out, they would not physically see those posts on my page.
Correct. They're technically unpublished posts, which is why they're called dark.
I was going to say, hence the term dark post.
Yes.
Okay. Very interesting. So I guess, the idea then is, if you want to test different thoughts or ideas that maybe you don't want public, because it would be pretty obvious if you're, doing one for this, one for this, and one for this. It might look kind of weird if all this content's popping up on your page.
Right. And it could be overwhelming too. So say you've got 4 lines of product and you're testing to see how a campaign might work. And because you're testing it in the early stages, it doesn't really fit into your strategy. You're still posting on your page. Then if you add these other 4 or 5 items, it's total overwhelm on your Facebook page, and people might get irritated and you might turn them off. So while you continue publicly on your page with the strategy that you've been employing, you can utilize these dark posts to test other imagery, other text, see how it performs with specific audiences. And then as you analyze it, then you can roll it into your normal feed and have it as part of your public page.
Okay, so I guess I have 2 curious questions. And one is, how do I post something? Because I know that when I go to post, I can boost it, I can backdate it, I can future date it, but I don't see anything that says invisible or dark post. So let's start with that first question. Where do we need to go in order to actually do a dark post?
You have to use Power Editor. So Facebook
Never heard of Power Editor either.
Maybe that should be the next episode. Power Editor is a way to do bulk things on Facebook. It was originally created for doing bigger advertising, to say like a list. So you could import so you've got a pretty large email marketing list. You can import your list, and Facebook would compare user emails to your list, and you can target an audience to your email list. That was one of the biggest starts of Power Editor. It has a lot more features to it now, including, but you can also run ad campaigns through it, which you can also do ad campaigns through the native Facebook app. You can also do it through the business manager. There's a lot of places to do ads now. But Power Editor kind of lets you do a lot of the bulk work. If you need to import, if you've done a bunch of ad imagery, you can import a bulk of them.
Okay, now is this a separate piece of software, or is it within the management tools already on our business page on Facebook?
It's now incorporated, not in the business tools, but in the ad platform. So if you go into your ad platform on the left-hand side, Power Editor is one of the options now. And so you can utilize it through that, but it's the only place that you can do unpublished posts.
All right, so we go into the not our business page. We have to go through the business page to get to the ads, or do we have to go to facebook.com/ads or something?
You can just do it through the normal way, however you get to your ad manager.
Okay, so once you get to ad manager, then you need to look for this Power Editor.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure, because this is new to me. So, and typically I have other people do this type of stuff. So it's good to know where they're going to do this. The second thing is then, are you, since it is within the ad management tool, we can actually segment. So you talked about shoes, kids shoes, women's shoes, men's shoes. I forget, there was 4 different segments. But so what you're essentially saying is that you could have, maybe you want to test 2 or 3 different images just for women's shoes. You can target your specific audience, being women, and then whatever other factors you want for the type of woman that you're targeting. But you could actually do 3 different images. So it's almost like A/B testing, essentially, without it showing up on your Facebook page.
Right, and without having to, you're not paying for ads. So it kind of operates like ads. It kind of operates like a boosted post, except that you don't have to pay for it. Just only your followers in that segment that you define will see this post as if it's a normal page post.
Okay, so if I only have 5 people following my page, this may not work out very well for me.
Correct.
Okay. So you need to have a pretty large following, I'm assuming, then, in order for this to be effective. Do you know, is there a way of actually doing paid post on these dark ads, or is that not an option?
I don't believe it's an option, but don't quote me on that. I haven't, it's been a while since I've done one.
Okay. All right, so this is really interesting. So I guess the real premise here with the dark post is that if you have a large audience, then as you're trying to figure out maybe what your next ad campaign is going to be, you want to do a little test research ahead of time. And like you said, Sarah, you don't want to annoy everybody else. So, you know, if you're going to run 3 or 4 different images or different tests, for, you know, especially if you're going to break it up, like you said, segment it for men versus women versus kids, you could end up posting a lot of content. So I could see where having these dark posts would be really cool, so that just the women in your segment get to see the ads that are relevant to women, but they got a couple of different options. So you can do some A/B testing, then you shoot out or actually at the same time, you could do this all at the same time. I mean, you send out your 2 or 3 that go out towards women in the week, 2 or 3, whatever it is, for men, and then, all right, so that's kind of cool. Still trying to wrap my head around how to use it.
It is a little bit more complicated, and it definitely, like I said, is for the more advanced users that we are really comfortable in what you're doing, and you want to take things to the next level. It is a great way to do A/B testing, but you also want to make sure that while you're doing all of your testing, while you're utilizing these dark posts, that you're still implementing your normal strategy so that your public page is not forgotten. Because as you're testing these things out, then you want to make sure, though, that everybody sees what you're normally posting, so that that doesn't accidentally go dry while you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And then
right. That's the shiny object game, right? Where we go squirrel, and then we focus so much on this new toy that we're playing with that we forget our core audience.
Right. And you're utilizing this more for data and research and seeing how things work, so that you can implement it and improve your normal strategy. That's the goal. So you want to make sure that you keep going with your strategy and then start playing with the power editor and the dark posts.
Okay. So we talked about running some A/B testing. Are there other ways that you can use these dark posts to get more information or, boost visibility without being visible?
You can use it to select feedback. So say you've got, and again, we'll use a gender split. Say you've got possibly a new product or service rolling out, and it applies to only male or female. You can ask them to be maybe a beta tester or fill out a survey about the product to see if it's a viable idea, product, or service, and target the audience that it applies to before you roll it out. So it's a great way to do some market research as well, versus the other examples we've used where you already had the stuff. This is a great way to find beta testers for product, service, app, whatever you've got that you're thinking of rolling out, to see if it's what you need to fine tune before you actually do your launch.
All right, very cool. Very interesting question you may not know the answer for. Any ideas what the minimum follow rate is? And that's kind of a gray area when I say how many followers you should have, because it really depends on the quality of your followers. If you spend a lot of money buying followers, you're not going to get the same results as somebody who's attracted them organically and targeted the type of people that they wanted to follow their page.
Right. In a talk I was giving yesterday, I was saying the same thing. There was, in research I was doing for one of my attorney clients, I came across an attorney in Southern California, and I came across her Facebook page, and she's got 35,000 followers, and it's crickets. Everything she posts, there's no interaction, that it looks like she probably bought her list. And so, yes, technically that number is huge, but it's useless because they're not interacting, they're not engaged. Where a page that has 200 followers that grew organically, and they're people within your community, and they're interacting on a regular basis, is the 200 is way more valuable than the 35,000, because they're interacting and they're actually being part of your community. So it is a gray area. I don't know what the number threshold kind of would be for this to really work, but it definitely is a gray area on how many you have. It's really all about interaction more than how many you have.
Right. Okay, perfect. Well, I like it. We're almost out of time. Do you have any closing thoughts then on these Facebook dark posts?
I would say use them not sparingly, but thoughtfully. And if this whole episode totally blew your mind and you're like, what the heck? Don't do it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to utilize this. It's just another tool for the more advanced users, especially as we're leading into the holidays. I thought it would be a good thing for especially the e-commerce audience, that they might be able to benefit from this. But again, if it's way over your head and you're kind of panicking over doing it, don't worry about it. You don't have to use it. Keep just doing your strategy as you've always been doing it. Use the boosted posts for your products as we're coming into the holidays to promote your products and specials, and just keep doing it as you've been doing it.
Right. And the other thing I would say is that since this is a little bit more of an advanced tactic, you'll definitely want to sit down, spend some time, and create a real marketing plan behind this that's actionable, so that there's a purpose and that there's a takeaway at the end of actually running these dark posts.
Absolutely. You want to make sure it's methodical, thought out, and you get some sort of result that tells you whether to move forward or stop.
Right. Okay, perfect. And if you have any other questions, you can always check out Sarah Giametti at provaromarketing.com. You can leave a comment below on YouTube. We always make sure that we respond quickly. If you're watching this on Facebook, obviously leave a comment below, and more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Sarah, we are out of time, but I will see you next week on Wednesday at 9:45 for our next episode of Social Media Wednesday.
Yep, we will be here every week.
All right, sounds good. Until then, everybody, I hope you have a great week. Sarah, as always, I appreciate your time and energy that you put into the show, and I will talk to you later.
Thanks. Have a good day.